Let's briefly talk about the Donald Trump Kamala Harris Tuesday night debate. It was 3-on-1 the entire time. It was very obvious. David Muir and Lindsey Davis, they did a terrible job moderating that debate. They fact checked Donald Trump. I don't even how many times they compared to Kamala's like one time, and then they're sitting there doubling down on questions for Donald Trump. Also, too, Donald Trump could have done a lot better job during that debate. He could have done a much better job. Whoever his debate team was, they should be fired because he was talking about people being fired during the that he fired during his administration. And Harris, they haven't fired anybody for the Harris Biden Harris administration. He should fire his debate team because that was terrible. Donald Trump needs to come more prepared. If there even is another debate, if we want to sit here and say, did Kamala Harris win that debate? Yeah, Kamala Harris won that debate. I mean, it's tough to say because it was 3-on-1 the entire time, but Trump could have hit her on so many other things. She hit him on the abortion thing. The border thing was brought up at times, but when you're sitting there and it's 3-on-1, it's kind of hard to win a debate. And I mean, in Trump's defense, I mean, for what he had to put up with and go against, he did a pretty darn good job. And also, too, Donald Trump is not a politician. I don't know how many times people, tend to forget this. He's not a politician. He's not going to be extremely polished up there. He's not going to be able to, rattle off this, rattle off that. And the one thing, too, that I didn't like with Donald Trump from the debate is he didn't answer a lot of the questions. The moderators, even though they were trying to set him up and they were trying to bait him, he didn't respond to a lot of their questions. He would kind of go off the path of Joe Biden this, Joe Biden that. It's like he needs to stick with Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. Those are the two people up there. Also, too, another thing, if both candidates were smart, they would take another debate because we still don't know Kamala Harris's stance. She was up there and she was talking about policies in 3.5 years and this and that. What plan do you have? I know the Democratic Party will say, well, the vice president doesn't have a huge say. She's the second person in charge. She knows exactly what is going on with this administration now. She knows exactly what is going on in this country. Like Donald Trump even pointed out to her and he said, you've been in charge for you've been in power for 3.5 years. Why haven't you done anything with the border? She and Joe Biden can figure something out with the border, as he said right now. Another thing from the debate, too, I didn't like when Lindsey Davis and David Muir asked Donald Trump about the Affordable Care Act. He didn't have an exact plan. He didn't have an exact answer. They said, well, you're okay with the Obamacare Act, and he basically was okay with it, but he didn't have a plan to basically repeal it. So that was another thing there. But overall, I mean, I thought the debate was good, but the next thing here too is when you have moderators, they are not supposed to be talked about after the debate. The candidates are the ones that are supposed to be focused on heavily. We shouldn't be talking about the moderators after the debate. That's not how it should be. Just like a sports reference here for you guys. When you're talking about the game, you want to talk about the Chiefs and the Niners Super Bowl game between the two teams. You don't want to be talking how the refs had their footprints all over the game. Let's flip back to the Chiefs and the Eagles Super Bowl a few years ago when the James Bradbury, Juju Smith-Schuster holding call. Yes, that was a holding call, but we don't want the refs to be involved in the game. That's what takes away from the actual sport, right? Going back to the debate here. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, they should debate again. They really should. And I don't know if Kamala Harris's team will accept a Fox News debate, but my theory, my strategy here, my opinion on this one here is they got to pick better moderators for that debate because they were all against Donald Trump. I mean, it was very obvious the entire time. Kamala Harris was sitting there looking at David Muir and Lindsey Davis, kind of like chuckling and laughing. But the highlight of the debate was when he said, "Quiet, please. I'm speaking." Do you remember that? And Kamala Harris absolutely lost it. But let's give Kamala Harris some credit. She came poised. She came prepared. She looked the part, but she had a lot of time to prepare for this debate. But Donald Trump, he goes off the cuff. He rattles. He keeps going. He keeps going. So if you want to say Kamala Harris won the debate, sure. But like I said, going back to earlier, it's a 3-on-1. It's very hard to win a debate when it's 3-on-1, right? Let's put myself, somebody else, and two moderators, and the two moderators are basically attacking me mostly the entire time. Also, too, Kamala Harris tried to bait Donald Trump into the January 6th thing. We knew that was going to come up. Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. They make him out to be like he's Hitler. They make him out to be like he's this evil dictator. They tried to get him on the Project 2025 thing. That we all know that's not true. They tried to get him on he is a dictator. He incited riots. He was proud. He was standing up for the Proud Boys. So, but like I said, we still don't know what Kamala Harris's policies are. We don't know what she is going to do. They even interviewed people after the debate and they said, what is Kamala Harris's plan? We don't know. The inflation's at an all-time high. Donald Trump hit on those points. So there was really good points that Donald Trump hit on. He hit on the border, he hit on the inflation, he hit on the economy, he hit on the military. So not going to sit here and say Donald Trump did a piss poor job. He did awful the entire debate. No, but he could have done a lot better. He could have hit her on harder topics, harder subjects, or pressed harder on the things that she was hitting him on. But overall, good debate. I really hope that they do get to debate again. I know the election here is November 5th, coming up here in the next 2 months or so. So it's coming up around the corner. ABC, they did a terrible job. I mean, that was obvious, but I really hope that we get a fair debate before the election. We're going to get the two vice presidential candidates, Tim Walz and JD Vance. From what I've seen so far, that's going to be happening. But we need another Kamala Harris, Donald Trump debate. Let them hash it out again. And let's actually hear Kamala Harris's policies. Let's hear her her agenda for what she's going to be doing for the country, because all I heard was I'm going to be helping small businesses start up with a $50,000 insert. Basically, I'm $50,000 startup. You're going to get $50,000 as a startup business. Well, hell, sign me right up, because I have a small business on the side right here. So does everybody else down the road. But sticking here, she could have done a much better job with certain things as well. Donald Trump could have done a much better job on certain things. So I'm looking forward to, I really hope there is going to be another debate between the two of them. But when you're going up against 3-on-1 the entire debate, it's kind of hard to win a debate.